Lee Cockerell is a customer service icon, and I was thrilled to have him join our show. Lee served as the Executive Vice President of Operations for the Walt Disney World Resort for 10 years. This means he ran 20 resort hotels with over 24,000 guest rooms, 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, 5 golf courses, a shopping village, and a nighttime entertainment complex. So pretty much every aspect of the resort you can imagine, he was in charge of. Now, Lee clearly isn't an attorney, and his focus has never been in the legal field, but so much of what he does is at the heart of what I'm preaching here. A holistic take on service that involves your clients, your staff, and your executives and owners. We'll discuss how a little something extra can go a long way with your clients, but over-the-top gift giving is a wasteful distraction. We'll also talk about the mistaken idea that somehow customer service is limited to just one department. No, it's not just there to answer problems. It's how we deliver, and limiting it to just problem resolution means that we're doing nothing when everything goes right. That just doesn't make any sense. Lee's got decades of experience and an easygoing way of discussing and thinking about integrated service techniques. He understands the true value that service can bring a company and how happy customers make for easier business and bigger bottom lines. All of this can and should be translated to you and your firm's overall approach to service. I'm really excited about this interview, so let's get to it. I'm John Strohmeyer, and this is the 5-Star Counsel Podcast. The market for legal services is shifting, and lawyers who don't adapt will be left behind. This podcast gives you a competitive edge in today's market by sharing the client service lessons you probably didn't learn in law school or in law practice. Let's start the show. Hey 5-Star listeners, before we start, I want to tell you about our amazing sponsor, Smith AI. Smith AI is a virtual receptionist service for small businesses with a specialty in working with solo and small law firms. I signed up with them within weeks of starting my firm because they are affordable for even the smallest solo practice. Their friendly receptionists respond to potential clients in Spanish or English, screen and schedule new leads, and can even take payments. And now they're answering calls 24 hours a day. So even when you're asleep, they're still working. Even beyond the phone, they've got live agents and chat bots ready to capture leads on your website, by text, and by Facebook Messenger. Smith's friendly gatekeepers can staff your front line so you can work uninterrupted. You can finally have the peace of mind that while you're working, you're not missing out on future work. Plans start at just $70 a month for calls and $100 a month for chats. Smith AI is offering a free trial, and our podcast listeners get an extra $100 discount code with promo code 5-STAR. That's FIVESTAR. Sign up and learn more at www.smith.ai. Don't let another day go by. Try Smith AI. Lee, it is so exciting for me to have you here on this podcast. I am, not only a Disney fan, but a service fan as well. I've been listening to your podcast. I spent the few minutes before we started gushing, and I want to save most of it here, but I am really excited to have you on to talk about client service and how we can create magic in professional practices.
Well, thank you. It's good to be on. And there's a lot of work to do around the world with service.
There is. I came from my background working for the Four Seasons, trying to bring what I've learned there to the lawyers who are good enough to listen. And I want to start with customer service rule number 1. Service isn't a department. This is one of the things that I just, it's like a nails on the chalkboard where people think customer service only means something's gone wrong, everything else. And podcasting's an audio medium. Nobody can see you smiling big. I'm going to just give you the floor to just start talking right there.
Yeah, well, it seems like every time you have a problem with service anywhere in the world, they want to transfer you to this customer service department, which 99% of the time turns out to be the customer aggravation department by the time you get finished. And I just always wondered, at Disney, we really are clear about every cast member has the responsibility to take care of the customer, and they have the authority. 90% of the problems you'll have at Disney World, it could be anything from dropping an ice cream cone to you didn't like your meal to your room's not ready. The frontline cast member not only has the They have the authority to take care of that. They have the financial authority, and they have hopefully the common sense because we've trained them and given them that authority. Most places I call when I have a problem, the people on the other end of the line have no authority to take care of you. They give you a spiel, and then you say, "Well, can I talk to the supervisor?" They give you the same spiel in a nicer way, and in time it goes. Nobody seems to be able to make a decision. And although there are exceptions, I will say Amazon, for instance, you call them, and whoever answers the phone can make the decision on it to give you a rebate, send you a new product, and my wife asked Amazon lady one day, how were you able to make that decision for this broken plate that we ordered? And she said, my husband's writing a book about customer service. And the lady said, our only policy at Amazon is to make you happy. And we're all authorized to do that. I don't have to talk to anybody. I listen to your problem, and I have the authority to do what I think is the right thing to do to keep you happy. And when you're happy, and when my wife's happy with Amazon, Amazon comes to our house every single day. I know
Right.
the drivers like they're my best friends. And Amazon comes, UPS comes, and FedEx comes, and it's all about they just take care of business. And they keep
And,
their promises, and they do what they say they're going to do. They're reliable, credible. That's the name of service.
and that's what we get to here is it's not just some over the top spiel. It's just take care of people when something goes wrong, fix it. When I was at the hotel, that was my authority as well. Just don't escalate anything. Even when I was a front desk agent, if there's a problem, you solve it. We'll figure it out on the back end later. If you gave away too much money, we'll let you know, but we're not going to go take that back from the guest.
Right.
And it really was, if somebody's upset, at the very least, go buy them a meal somewhere while you sort it out.
Actually, we found at Disney that the frontline cast members did a better job than the management because they just buy them a cup of coffee, and but when you do it quick, that's when the customer's happy. It's not like I got to find the manager and we'll send you over to compliance and our lawyers will be in touch. No. That's like the worst thing you can do. When you escalate it, it just goes from bad to worse. And everybody wants what they want, and they want it now. And so we're going to get taken advantage of a few times, but that doesn't matter.
And that was one of the things that really, my 4 years with the Four Seasons, 3 of them as night manager. So I'd go in at 11 o'clock and leave at 9 in the morning. I saw, probably more than my share of people who could have taken advantage of us for any of a number of reasons. And really, you've got to trust not only your staff, but also the clients, the customers, to not take advantage of you.
Yeah, and I think, that's built into the price already.
Right.
Don't worry about the ice cream cones and dinners and hotel rooms and all that kind of stuff. Play the long game, and that's what we do. We're looking for repeat business, and that's the most valuable thing we have is repeat business. And I would say probably Four Seasons. That's their most important thing is people want to go back to the Four Seasons. And so we don't try to win an argument. Our goal is to turn them around. We said Mickey Mouse likes everybody that has a credit card. And our goal is to make you happy, so you're happy to give us that credit card. And,
exactly.
And so a few people take advantage of it. That's life. But you can't develop your own personality based around not trusting everybody in the world. And so it's an attitude.
It is. And I mean, before we get too far afield, it just makes me think about one time where we ended up having to call in the police and ultimately the SWAT team on a guest because of a number of issues that, they were not behaving. And as the police were filing out, the staff sergeant was there with me. He's like, "Why did you let her in?" "Sir, she had a credit card and the ID matched. Unfortunately, we're not going to run psych evaluations on everybody on the way in."
Right. Exactly. And there's a lot of people out there trying to beat the system, but that's not a big issue. That's part of
No,
doing business. Yeah,
no. And so that, rule number one was it's not a department, it's everybody's there. So it wasn't even just me as the manager or me as the front desk agent or the PBX operator. It really was, we've got to have everybody, even the guys in accounting who may never talk to a guest directly.
absolutely. It's everything's connected. Everything's connected, and you want anybody that deals with a guest in your operation to say, "Wow, that was a good experience," and that's the key. And sometimes accounting and payables and receivables and security and other departments don't realize that. And the reason they don't realize it is because the business has not been clear with them when they hired them that everybody's involved. Security at Disney is one of the nicest people you'll ever run into. We don't beat people up or shoot them. Well, we just keep an eye on things, and we bend down and talk to their children, and we set that expectation when we hire them. This is not the police department. This is Disney, and we treat everybody well, and that's the way it goes. Yeah. Setting expectations is the name of the game. You got to tell people, this is not the corner drug. This is Disney, and here's how we do it here. There's the Disney way. And we don't want you putting your way in. We're interested in your opinion, but don't implement it until we talk about it. We figured this out over 60 years,
Right. I mean, it's what, the 50th anniversary of Disney World is coming up this year or in the next year.
October 1st. Yeah, October 1st. In a month.
And I'm not going to get too distracted on the park stuff right now, but the other rule that popped out from the book that I wanted to talk about, customer rule number 37, surprise them with a little something extra. What gets mistaken and what I hear too often is over the top gifts, shock and awe gifts, send them steak knives, send them placemats. But at the Four Seasons, we didn't have a gifting policy. And if we did, it was something that somebody was going to be making anyway. The chocolate covered strawberries were made in-house with chocolate we bought at bulk and strawberries we bought at bulk, prepared by a pastry chef who was going to do that in 10 minutes in between the rest of their work. But it had a great value to the guest. Now, Disney, it's all about being there for entertainment, pampering, and fun. Can you say a little bit more about, I'm keying off the little something extra, but it wasn't, here's your free ticket to the park for an extra day.
No, if we find out a child is interested in something, the waiter, they're kind of trained to listen to that. We always tell our waiters, take the food order from the child, not from the parents. Bend down and listen to them, what they want. And of course, they always want macaroni and cheese, so we have to make sure we got that everywhere. But the little things are, a little girl likes Cinderella. Sometimes Cinderella might show up, and or she might get a little good night call or wake up call from Cinderella, or all the little teeny things you can do. Buying somebody a cup of coffee and being nice to people. Just going over the top on being nice. I asked my granddaughter what was the most important thing in customer service. She said, "Pappy, when she was 12, just be nice to people." And I was going like, that is something extra today because most people just don't do it. And bringing them something a little extra at the end of their dinner, like you said, strawberries or chocolate or a Mickey ice cream cone, or it doesn't have to be a big thing. But we did some research, and surprises, the brain acts different with surprises than it does with expectations. And if I say every time you come to my dry cleaners, every 10 times you get a Starbucks gift card, people get used to that. It's no big deal. But if I surprise you with something occasionally, the brain likes that a lot.
Right.
And, it's just, I think the reason we're able to do it is because we don't tell the cast members how to do it. We just allow them to do it. You do what you think's the best thing. and you do what you need to do. And somebody forgets their phone charger, it's not unusual for a cast member to go to Walmart and pick one up and drop it off at their hotel. And the person goes, "What?" And
Yeah.
they can't believe it, or it could be anything. We listen to the customer, and when we hear something that we can do a follow up with, of a little something, or a message, or an autograph from Mickey Mouse, or it's just all those little things. Yeah.
Right. And the thing that I keep hearing again and again, it's little things. You're turning it into a high, you're leveraging a simple situation, but you're not spending 10% of their budget back at them.
No, and we pay it when you pay attention to children, that makes parents really happy. I mean, there's nothing that makes parents happier than their kids being happy. and and we pay attention to the children, and we do little things for them, and that passes on to the parents. They're so happy to see, when you see your daughter smiling and she's happy, and they just gave her a balloon or something, that's enough. And the parents are, wow, this is the kind of place we want to come to. And then, of course, the children love it, and they harass you to take them back over and over and over again to Disney. But we don't do that to manipulate people. We do it to just so that their whole stay is just one nice thing after another happens to you. You get on the bus, and the bus driver gets everybody singing on the way back to the hotel late at night. Who
Right.
does that? Yeah, I've never been on a New York bus where they got us all singing and happy going down the road, but they do that. And bus drivers will give the kids a little driver's license, and security might give them a little badge, and engineering coming to your room to fix a toilet might give you a little plastic hammer or a screwdriver. Kids love to watch the guy fix the toilet. I mean, that's amazing. And so everybody can do little things. Everybody carries stickers with them because kids love stickers. Our utility staff that cleans the bathrooms know how to draw Mickey in water with a broom on the sidewalk, and it evaporates in a few minutes, but they can do it. And, I mean, it's just one little surprise after another as you go through your day. And it doesn't have to be like that, but it is that way. And people go, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah. So, I mean, it just picking out, it doesn't even matter if it's the staff that's drawing the water drawings on the concrete. Are they trained to know, like, here are 5 or 6 ideas, just whenever you've got a minute? How do they learn
Actually,
where they
over
can
the
pick up
years,
kind of
they've
the
learned
easy
from each
wins?
other. They've basically learned from each other. Man, they have ideas management will never have. I mean, they know maybe how they wrap a package and how they put the bow on and some little special. I mean, they learn from each other, and we publicize those too in a newsletter, what so-and-so did, and the other cast members read that and say, "Oh, I'm going to do that." We learn, I know what makes my wife happy, and those are the things I do. And I've learned those over the years, cumulative over time. And so you just got, again, I would say, allow your people to take care of your customers. As a lawyer, I mean, there's surprise. You could get up and go out and meet the customer, not have them brought into your office. You could get up from your desk, go around and sit with them. You could offer them, if they're, what would they like to drink, and have a wide variety of caffeine, not caffeine, water, whatever. Anticipating what different people's needs are and having that available. And, I just had a situation with a doctor who the young lady was getting, or the wife of a friend of ours was getting open heart surgery. And he called her in to talk to her about it and said it's going to be about a 3-hour operation. He's sitting behind his desk. 3-hour operation. She's there with her husband. And we're going to do this and that. And he explained all the technical parts of how this is going to go. And before they left, he came around his desk and he sat down in front of her and took both her hands.
Oh, okay.
Said, "I want to tell you, I've done this a lot. Everything's going to go just fine, and I'm going to take care of you."
Oh my God. Exactly.
Are the lawyers doing that? I'm a good. I've done this before, and you can count on me, and I'll be available when you call me, and I'll keep in touch with you. That is amazingly powerful.
It is. And just making sure they know, one of the things I like to say, I do tax and estate planning. I don't go to court unless I know the outcome before I walk in. But clients don't come to me because they want a will or a trust. Like they know those words from, even having one before,
Yeah,
but that's not what they want. What they want is if something happens to them, they don't want to leave a mess for their
they won't.
family. And knowing that, you know, I could give them a will or a trust, or I could train the bush out front to tell people what to do when they're gone. They don't really care. I mean, it'd be impressive if I could do that with the bush, but they're really just looking for the peace of mind to know everything is going to get handled, and that's what we're here for.
Well, they need a lawyer, but they want somebody they can trust, and that they walk away and don't lose sleep over it. And
Right.
that's, I need surgery, but what I really want is safety. I want somebody that's going to really know what they're doing, and that's in, some people, they need a watch, but they want a Rolex. They need a
Right.
watch, but they want a Timex. You know, both need a watch, but they need it for different. They want it for different reasons, and we've got to continue to understand what people want. And I'm sure you see that in your business.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody that wants a will and a trust, they need that, but they want whatever: safety, security, availability, be able to talk to you. There's a lot of, if you can figure out what they need, not just what they want, and satisfy that. And that's what that doctor did when he came here. What he did, she needed to have surgery, but what she wanted, and he gave it to her, was that confidence. I trust this guy, and
Right.
that's a big deal.
Right. Whether you call it bedside manner or the service delivery, whatever it is, it's
Absolutely.
thinking about, yeah, because the technical skills that I can do a pretty good job. The guy down the street who's my nominal competitor, he can do a pretty good job too.
And I don't even know if you did a good job, but I know
Right.
if you were took care of me and I felt comfortable with you and you explained things. Maybe when I die, the will's all screwed up because you didn't do a good job, but I still loved you when you were alive. So,
Yeah. Yeah, but I'll be long. I'll be retired by
exactly.
then. uh, I would go back to something because you had mentioned this in a way that wasn't exactly clear, but I want everybody to hear this loud and clear. Where do you get the best ideas for service?
For service?
For improving things.
Yeah, I think you get them from everywhere, and you might get them from a hospital, because of the emotional connection of something that happened there. And like this doctor doing what he did, that I could see that translating to a lot of places. When I got a problem in a retail store, if she came up to me and said, "Let me tell you what, you can depend on me 100%. I'm going to make sure this happens. You're going to get that credit, and I'll be on top of it, and I'll be in touch with you." I mean, that's different than saying, "Well, we'll put it in for." Yeah. So it could be there. It could be, it could be in a public, Social Security. By the way, you don't worry about that yet, but
Not
Social
yet.
Security and Medicare are amazing. What do you think about when you think about those two departments? Oh God, I don't want to deal with them. They're amazing. They are organized. They call you exactly when they say they're going to. They do exactly what they say they're going to do. They're on top of it. And that's because they have a department there that works on this. And then there's other departments in the government that, God, you want to have a nervous breakdown when you think about calling them. But I was like that, and I was just amazed at how well they did their job and followed up and called you at the exact same time they said they would. Reliability, credibility, keeping your promises is like gigantic. So when you see it in a place like that, you go like, gosh, it must be possible in a restaurant or a retail store when the IRS, now the IRS is,
Oh, yeah.
that's not the same. But it's, great service comes from great leadership. You get what you want. Mr. Marriott told me once, if you have flies in your business, you like flies. You know, if you don't
Uh,
have flies, it's because you don't want to have flies. And there's a lot of things you can do. You can shut the door.
yeah.
Your mother used to tell you. You can buy fly swatters. You can put a screen up. There's a lot of things you can do. But if you have flies, it's probably because you like them, because you're not doing anything about it. If you have rude children, that's pretty much what you want. You're letting it happen.
You got what you deserved.
Yeah, and I think if you have dirty bathrooms in your business, well, whose fault is that? Not the guy that cleans the bathrooms. It's your fault for
What are you tolerating?
Huh? So, and everything's connected. So that's why you have to think about, service is the person at the airport who actually really goes and finds your bag and calls you and, not the one who said, I don't know. It's just God help us, that bag shows up. No, they go out and they work till they find it. And as my grandson said, I said, what do you define service as? He was 10. He said, Pappy, when you serve, you're always the giving one.
Yeah.
I think service is giving. And a lot of us get it, no matter how big your job is or how hot, a doctor, a surgeon, a lawyer. Your job is to serve. And when you serve, you get repeat business. Everybody talks about how great you are, and it separates you from the pack. And I always told somebody in my last book, when you become a big deal, don't. Nobody likes big deals. So don't go around acting like a big deal. Look at all the big deals in the world. They're all in trouble. They're on drugs, divorced. They're not happy. They're dying. I mean, it's unbelievable. Don't become a big deal. And be there to serve and help people. That's everything in life is people. You don't have one problem in your life except people. Really.
So, Lee, one of the things I do want to ask you about is because it's a story I've heard about Disney a few times, and since you were in charge of Disney World, I think you're the person to probably put a little bit more context on a story I've heard of. Apparently, there was some cast member who was walking from the parking lot. He missed a piece of trash in the parking lot. An executive was behind him, picked up the piece of trash, and by the time that first cast member got to it, got to wherever he was going, he was out of a job. Yeah. That's always struck me as a little harsh for anywhere, but maybe, what could be going on that when I heard that story, the missing context for that story?
Well, I'd say that's not true, by the way.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen. I mean, but the executive wouldn't walk over it. And right. Everybody that works there would be the role model that sends the right message that if I'm willing to pick it up, they are willing to pick it up, and they do. And it's all about role modeling, and it's all about, if we had a problem with that employee like 10 times about different things and we'd coached them and talked to them and tried to clarify for them that that's their responsibility, then they might have some issues. But no, I'd be more concerned if the cast member was walking behind the executive and the executive didn't pick it up.
Right.
We know role modeling is everything at home with your kids. It is in the business, and it's the absolute most important way people learn is by watching. I mean, your kids, by the time they're 7 or 8 years old, they've got their ethics and honesty in place, and they got all of that from home, watching, listening, so we are really a big deal about don't talk about it unless you're going to do it. Don't right. have a policy unless the president of the company is going to pick it up. Wear their name tag. I mean, the CEOs don't come to Disney without their name tag on, and and probably a lot of CEOs probably think, "Wow, you got to wear a name tag."
Right.
Well, you do if you're at Disney because we're a first name company, and that's part of service. Just call me Lee. Don't try to. Most people can't pronounce last names anyway, but make sure you're setting the example. What's more important than example, credibility? It's just like we all know who does it and who doesn't. We all know. Everybody knows. Everybody who blah, 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 but they don't follow up. And everybody knows who you are and what you are.
One last kind of behind the curtain Disney question. I've also heard that pricing Disney doesn't just consider Universal Studios in Orlando across as when they're considering pricing. They're looking at, I mean, among other things, the price on a lift ticket to go skiing when they're figuring it out.
Yeah.
Can you shed a little light on that?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, Disney does not consider Universal or SeaWorld or anywhere else their competition. They consider anywhere you'll go to spend vacation dollars. So Hawaii is a competitor, Las Vegas, New York, LA. We are worried about where you're going to go. If you come to Orlando, we'll get our share. We're not worried about that. We're not worried about, Universal. They'll get their share. SeaWorld will get their share. We'll get our share. So our marketing department's goal is to get you to come to Orlando or California, and then not worry about that. We don't want. If you go to Vegas, it's going to be. You're going to say, "Gosh, why didn't we go back to Orlando this year? This was so much nicer last year." Or if you go to Hawaii, wow, remember how nice they were? Let's go back there. And that's the key. Is any lawyer could be your competition. May not be the one right down the street. It may be somebody else. I had a lawyer that lived cross country from me for years. My tax accountant was in Oklahoma, and I lived in all kinds of places, but I never changed because that person I trusted, and they took care of me. And today you can do it on Federal Express and send your stuff and do it on the phone, and so your competition can be anywhere, and especially in jobs like yours and Disney too. People are. Let me tell you, after this pandemic, vacation business is going to skyrocket. I mean,
Yep.
This is getting ready to be, there's going to be more money spent on vacations and travel in the next couple of years, and we're going to be shocked because there's plenty of money and people want to go, and we've held them in their house for too long, and it's going to explode. And they're going to go where they're treated right and the other thing today is why they come to Disney World: safety.
Yep.
People want to go somewhere with their children where it's safe. Well, Disney's got the safest zip code in America, by the way. 32830, safest zip code in America. And there's a lot of reasons. I think people used to say, well, I'll take my kids to Paris, or I'll take them to London, and they do some. But today, a lot of parents are more concerned about where they're going to be with their children. And safety is a big deal. We have 1,500 security people on property. And we have 80 sheriff's deputies. You don't see them, but they're here. There's no place. When you get out of your car in the parking lot, somebody's watching you. So you're safe. You can leave your kids here for a year. We'll take care of them. You pick them up. I mean, it's safe because safety is our number one issue. We can't take having a big newspaper article in the New York Times that somebody got hurt or killed or sick or,
anything
we're
like
all
that.
over safety. And there's a lot of ways to get hurt in a theme park, and mobs of people and boats and monorails and buses. So we're all over that. And that creates an environment and culture people want to be in.
And that's the important part, just not just for your clients and making sure that they've got a reason to come see you, but making it inviting for your employees as well.
Sure. Everybody wants to work in a place that's organized, disciplined, where they're treated respectfully. I mean, people worry about turnover. If you hire people right and train them right and treat them right, most people don't leave.
Yeah.
I mean, and people say, what's the secret of Disney? I say, hire them right, train them right, and treat them right, and you won't have any problems. And a lot of companies don't get that. A lot of kids work at a place where they don't even know their kid's last name, and they don't feel like they're anybody, and they're not learning. And so you get more than a salary when you work at Disney. You learn how to be great, and it'll look good on your resume. And when you go out into the workforce, everybody's going to want to hire you. So, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Four seasons, same story. 4 seasons.
Oh, absolutely.
You put 4 seasons on your resume. I mean, that's impressive.
Look at me now.
Not just anybody can work there.
No, and it was one of the things that when I was taught by the Four Seasons how to interview people, it's when I got into management and they were, look, you're letting people in. Isidore Sharp was the founder, and one of the kind of unwritten rules was we're not Isidore Sharp's home for wayward souls. If you're not, we need a certain baseline of, friendliness, on time. You got to be able to get some things done. But once you get over that, they'll take people from being the pool boy, and there's people who've worked their way all the way up to management.
Absolutely. And they're looking for attitude and passion, and they'll teach you the business. And yeah.
Well, Lee, we've run over our normal time, but as we start to wind this down, you gave us a great place to think about starting, of just hiring, training, taking care of people. But as you look back over your career with Hilton, Marriott, Disney, opening properties all over the world, I'm going to steal a question from your co-host on Creating Disney Magic, Jody Mayberry's question that he asks a lot. I've heard him ask a lot. What's one lesson you learned later in your career that you wish you had learned earlier?
I wish I had understood leadership more than just management. As they say, management's getting things done. Leadership's how to be there for your people, how to be respectful, how to be able to make hard decisions, have hard discussions, be trusted, be. And we got a lot of people doing a lot, but not being a lot. And I was that way the first 15 of my careers. I didn't hear the word leadership. It was just like, get it done. And if you leave a few bodies along the way, that's the way it goes. And that's not right, because if you don't get it done through people, you're going to fizzle out. And you're not going to be as successful as you could have been. And you're not going to leave a legacy either of people respecting you. And so that was a lesson for me. It took probably 15 years for it. I finally woke up and thought it's not only about getting things done, it's about literally creating more leaders, having people trust you so they give you more and do more. And so that's a learning maybe a lot of people need to hear is, are you as good as you think you are?
Lee, this is a great place to leave off. We're going to put a link to the Creating Disney Magic podcast so people can start getting more of your lessons direct from the source. Other than that, where can people find you?
Well, my website, leecockerell.com, and I put everything there because I'm getting old. I might forget where it is, so I just put everything in one place. And on there is my Cockerell Academy. It's an online learning system, podcasts, blogs, books. We have a store on there if they want whatever. Videos of speeches I've given to give them a taste of style, if you will. So it's all in one place, leecockerell.com.
Excellent. Lee, thank you so much for being with us. This has been a lot of fun.
Good to be with you. Thank you a lot.
Thanks so much for listening. You can find more info on us and get your free white paper on client service at 5starcouncil.com. You can get in touch with me at john@5starcouncil.com. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe wherever fine podcasts are found and leave us a review wherever you can.